Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma practitioners, when it comes to our ordinary human life, our main purpose is to become successful. So, that success has two parts when it comes to real success. Conventionally, as an ordinary person, and also spiritually, we have to get out of this suffering. Otherwise, even though conventionally we become successful, in the deeper level, in the long term, that if we have to suffer more than dissatisfaction, so that success is not the real success. So when it comes to this success word, suddenly it comes to our mind money, material wealth, and the fame and the power, and also the characters mostly became very famous, earning a lot of money and becoming rich. That is nothing wrong with. But at the same time, when it comes to the life, as I mentioned in the beginning, there are two parts in our life when we look for the success. One is tools, another one is principles. So using the tools, you can become successful. But it is very difficult to remain success. But when you follow the principles, you come to success. Maybe it cannot measure by the wealth or the material or the becoming famous. It's like that way. But conventionally and eternally, the both way, your life going to become more meaningful when you able to follow the principles. So tools, you can, once you know the principles, you can make any tools to work with that principles. But if you have tools, you cannot make principles out of the tools. So that is the important thing then here. In the beginning, it is very important to know the principles regarding the success of the life. So when it come to, especially when it come to vipassana practice, even though you practice vipassana as a deeper meditation, conventionally you become more flexible, more grounded, and you become more ordinary person in day-to-day life. And that make you comfortable and the other people comfortable around you. So remember, as a human being in this very lifetime, at least you have to have a very comfortable life. And also you have to make some space for other people. So, and you don't need to look for enlightenment. You no need to look for liberation, because if you look, you will never find it. It is a result, come as a practice. When you fulfill the practice, It will come as a result of it. So what you have to practice then? The mostly principles where it take us to perform as a human being. When you deeply understand impermanent, unsatisfactory nature, selflessness, you become pure, clear human being. That clarity will help you to deeply awake inside you the wisdom that transform you to this level, to your enlightenment. Even you attain to enlightenment, you just become a pure, clear, natural human being, because we are not reached to even that natural, pure, clear human being. We are mostly have the behavior, that the collective behavior coming through this sansaric journey. Still we cannot achieve to the clear, natural, the human consciousness. So then these principles will take you there. So when it comes to that principles, the very important basic principle that you have to have the clarity. Conventionally, regarding what you want, where you go, who you are, for your limit. It doesn't matter how far you can see. For that limits, have a clear purpose in your life. What you want. Maybe you cannot think far away. You cannot think the end. But still, whatever you have, you can see. Even when you wake up in the morning, in that very morning, or even for that day, have a purpose and go for it. Because there are a lot of opportunities will come to you. There are a lot of ideas will knock to you. There are a lot of roads will open towards you. But still, if you don't have the clear purpose, what you want out of this life, so what will happen? You just waste it. Maybe you will reach to the highest, but still it doesn't make any sense. There are a lot of human beings reach to the highest, and end of their life, and a lot of them had a question regarding their own life, who I am, what I did. See, they reached to the highest of the conventional success, but still they died with the question, who I am, what I did in my life, what I achieved. So then, at least as a human being, during this time period, using this Dharma, get a clear purpose to your life. It may no need to be too spiritual, even in conventionally. Just to become a better person, successful person yourself. Because there are certain dreams in you, there are certain that the characters inside you. So give a chance for that. Don't afraid to be who you are. So that is one of the important thing, that when it comes to the principles, the clarity. So that it's come to the understanding yourself. Before you understand somebody or something, you just come to your understanding in conventionally. And then when even spiritually, when we go to the vipassana meditation, it's about our understanding. regarding five aggregates. Even before you go to that, in conventionally, just come to a point to and see materially in your life before you die. Is there anything that you want to fulfill? At least have a clear vision for your sansaric journey. Can you make a model? Can you create a clear blueprint without greed, hatred, and the delusion? That will be a great investment for your entire sansaric journey. Because from next life, you start to build up your life on that blueprint. Maybe so far in our journey, we didn't have that. So today you have an opportunity and get into that and see using this life what you really want. And before you die, is there anything that you can make it happen? And then spiritually, maybe forget about this life. In your sansaric journey, if you, in case if you born in somewhere, how, what kind of knowledge, wisdom you looking for? Because what you look, you're going to find. That's how your mind work. That's how this universe work. What you look, what you ask, you're going to get it. So then have a clear blueprint for your spiritual path. Even conventionally, have a clear. Doesn't matter whatever happen in your life. Forget that everything from this point to your future. So because the success is going to change moment by moment, moment by moment. For a newly born baby, success is something. 3 years, 5 years old baby, success is something. And teenager, success is something. Young person, success is something. Elder, success is something. When you get old after 90 years, 100 years, success means something else. So in this life, you need that. You have to have that success. And at the same time, develop the principles on that success, how you can transform that success to deeper, higher value. So that is a challenge because a lot of people didn't have that. They achieved to the highest. And they had an opportunity to do a lot of beautiful things to this world. They are more capable to do a lot of things. But they cannot find that. The spiritual blueprint, they stuck somewhere in this conventional because they work with the tools, not they didn't have the principles. So that's the very first thing, clarity. And then the second one, that saving, the sharing, and how you contribute to others using that what you achieve every day. It is not after you achieve to this, or I'm going to do that or that. Living a life for other people. You have to, every day you have to develop that. Somehow, even one few minutes you have to give, contribute yourself. That whatever the life or the success or the you achieve, you have to contribute. Look at the Buddha. And why we after 2600 years we never saw him. We had no idea how, but still why we devote our whole life and follow that, because he contributes something to this entire humanity, spending his life. That was his goal, but he achieved that, and at the same time that achievement he shared with others. He contribute to others. So then yourself, you have to look. You will achieve to something, but are you sharing it with others? Are the people comfortable with it? Are you making any change in others' life, or are you helping for others to come to a level? Oh, you are just keep climbing, 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 climbing just yourself. So then remember, sharing, that contribute every day. Somehow find a way to contribute yourself. Why? Because otherwise this material success become hell if you don't contribute. That is what, by names I can tell many people, I went through case studies, character case studies in their life, how they achieved to success, and the missing part, the principles. One is the sharing. And the third one is the connection, appreciation, and acceptance. As human being, look at the Buddha's life. Every day still, after 2600 years, every day still that character has power to connect with the people. Every day, connecting with the people. Even just looking at the statue, sometimes people come, they had no idea what this is, they just come for something else. But when they look at the statue, they start to ask, who is this? It's look like something different. And then when tell start to about though he's the Buddha, this, by hearing the Buddha, then they come to a question. What is that? Who is that? Even during the Buddha's time, see this word, now you learn this vipassana like this, you heard, maybe you don't understand anything about this five aggregates or the vipassana like that. So it happened to me also in the beginning, few years I had no idea about what is this five aggregates. I had no idea, I tried to understand it, but i didn't I didn't come to a point to be very clear with that. So, but little by little, it suddenly it came to my mind deeply. I understand it, how this work, what this is. So it happened to you also. Maybe today you have no idea what this is. But the thing is this, during Buddha's time, even the people heard just the name of the Buddha. They never heard about the Buddha. They never saw the Buddha. But suddenly they heard through somebody. They heard there is a Buddha. By hearing that word, the Buddha, deeper in their, the mind, their blueprint that they had through the samsaric journey, whatever they used to practice and looking for wisdom, suddenly came up, oh Buddha, I want to go and see. And they give up, even the kings. They give up everything. They left everything behind. They just walk towards the Buddha. That's it. Why? Because they're looking that through the samsaric journey. So then remember, just yourself, just imagine. When you hear this, that, when you hear, oh, there is something like this, and you go for that. If you look for the wisdom, how about if you know there is a Buddha? Of course, you go and visit him. So like that, in your journey, that the connection that we build is very important. So in the beginning, before we come to the spiritual connection, we have to develop the human connection. Smiling, at least with smiling with people, talk nicely, sharing ideas and giving some space for others, and appreciating and respecting for others. This is very simple, basic, fundamental human qualities. So without developing that anything, do you think suddenly overnight you can jump from this side, boom, to other side, enlightenment? It's not going to happen like that way. It's not going to happen. Even the look at the Buddha's character, that sometimes with the animal, he used to recognize animals. And sometimes we think nowadays, we think, with the puppies, cat, this animal, we think, oh, we can recognize. No, really, we not mostly know, because we mostly see our own mind reflecting to through them. That the recognizing their life separately is completely different. So at least come to a human connection. It is a principle that you have to develop. Without that, sometimes you will reach to the success, you reach to the highest, but end of your life, it's going to become a mess. So remember these three principles, and rather than getting tools to your life, and just have this in your spiritually, conventionally, and then so you can make your own tools. See nowadays, and sometimes you cannot shake hands, and then we use some other different ways to treat each other. And so like that, when you have the clear connection, you make a way to keep that connection. So in the beginning, clarity, and that's mean clearly understand yourself, and understanding your purpose, at least conventionally, as a person, at least for a day. No, forget about till end of your life. At least try to for a day, for a month, for a year. So then contribute that whatever you achieve, you know, and learn to contribute little by little. Share your achievement every day. You know. Another one is the connection. Keep the connection. It's highly, it's all living beings in this entire universe, but every day we practice with the loving kindness, but at least in conventionally keep the connection with the human beings. Then you can expand it to animals, nature, unseen beings, that unseen, you know the energy. So it's a huge network we are living with. So, but at least try to keep the connection with the human. So keep it as a principle. So for that, and I'm going to give you this one of the character case study, that, and time to time we used to talk about during Buddha's time, you know, the how the people had their difficulties and how they went through life and finally they came to Buddha. And as you know, in the Western also, there are many famous characters, and they reach to the highest and success, but end of their life, and they they come to kind of like suffering. Merlin Monroe, you know, that even the Michael Jackson, uh, Elvis Presley. So like that characters, when we look deeply, they had the capacity to do something higher, using their position, but it didn't happen. because they somehow they didn't able to develop that spiritual blueprint within them. And there is the character that regarding this matter in India, and her name is Meena Kumari. And the Meena Kumari, that anybody can study about her, and especially for uh, girls. And I used to give a kind of like a, you know that project for some children, even to do a case study regarding Meena Kumari, you know, few years ago. So her life, the Meena Kumari, she's a actress, and another name for her, the tragedy queen. She born the 1st of August 1933. Her father is Ali Baks and her mother is Iqbal Begum. So when she born, the very she was her parents was so poor, and her father didn't have any money to pay for the doctor. So then what the father did, father was waiting for a boy, but she was a girl, and the father was so disappointed and poor and the disappointed. What he did, he thought, I don't want this child. He took the child and put into an orphanage. And after the next day, and he went home. And but still in his mind was he was kind of like a struggle. Oh, this is my child, this is my child. But next day when he come back and he saw this child covered with the ants, bugs, everywhere, mosquitoes, worms, everywhere, all over this child. And he took her and cleaned her and took home. So that's how her life is start. Say, Meena Kumari. And then somehow, when she was 5 years old, then somehow she able to start to get into movie industry. And 8 years old, and she start to act in a different movies. And somehow when she was 18 years old, and she able to achieve to the highest level. And in India there is a award called Film Fair Award. So 1963, and she got that award. And the nominating, that normally for the Filmfare Award, they nominate 5 characters. So for that award, all the 5 characters was Meena Kumari, Meena Kumari, Meena Kumari, Meena Kumari. Only she was that capable to achieve to that. And there was no one came to that much success. And somehow by the time when she was 18 years old, and she came with the the man, and he already married and had 3 children, but somehow she had an affair with him, and his name is Kamal Amro. And Meena Kumari was 18 years old, and Kamal Amro was the 34 years old. So they got married. And she was in the top in that level in India. Everything she had around it. And then what happened? Her husband was kind of like a, compulsive, obsessive husband. And she was so jealous, and he didn't give any chance to Meena Kumari to be alone. And he told, wherever you go, you have to be with the security. And even in the makeup room, you have to be with the security. You cannot be alone. So she became kind of like a prisoner. See, that she came from the bottom, very poor, and reached to the highest, and finally she caught up with somebody and not giving any space. And then what happened? So by the time, and her husband was so arrogant now that now they having a kind of like a problem. So one day in a festival, and the Meena Kumar came to the stage with the husband, and now then somebody introduced the Meena Kumari and telling the this is Meena Kumari, and her husband was with him. And then he introduced the husband telling this is Meena Kumari and this is her husband Kamal. And he got so mad. And then he told, no, 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 that is not the way. I am the Kamal Lamro, then she's my wife, Meena Kumari. And that much he was kind of like so arrogant and thinking that the self-centered and egocentric man. So from that day, what happened? The life was so difficult for her. And then she had the movie to act, and in that movie, and she had the character to kind of like drink alcohol. So she act, and then so her personal life, and that the pressure and the tiredness, loneliness, rejection, that everything what she did, she start to act that character same like her life. But end of the movie, she addicted to alcohol. And at the same time there was a doctor, and she having some sleeping problems. So then he told, take some brandy. So every day she used to take little bit brandy and sleep. And what happened? Then she became compulsive alcoholic addictive. And then she was the top in the India. And she was so famous around the world. And then what happened? She finally, 31st of March 1972, she died alone herself. And she had no money, and one of her friend spent the money for the funeral. So that is a, the real example. It is still, it is not a kind of like a Buddha's lifetime happened. No, still if you go to that online and put the Meena Kumari, and that you will see her character and how and what happened, that everything is there. And there are some books came regarding her character, because it is a very important for most of the children to study and learn. And she came to the highest in India, and still no one reached to that level in that movie industry, because the Bollywood movie industry is huge. It is, they used to produce movies more than the Hollywood. So this Bollywood movie industry, and she is the queen, but still see what happened to her. And that is why, rather than developing tools, the principles is very important, especially when it comes to this ordinary life that we look and we try to achieve, and we like to reach to step by step, step by step. But There are certain times come in life we have to deal with people, and we have to deal with situations. Sometimes we have no power, we have no authority, we have no knowledge to deal with that situation. But still, when if you able to develop the principles within yourself, this is the important thing. If you develop more than the tools, if you able to develop the principles, it doesn't matter whoever come to your life as a person, or as a partner, as a husband, wife, children, friends, or as a leader, or as a president. So within a few days, the new president going to come. Who knows who going to come? But whoever come, remember, it is our principles, whatever we develop within ourselves, going to change our life. So that's why, rather than looking for tools, whenever you have time, and take time and read regarding this life, Meena Kumari. And then remember yourself that whatever you reach to highest, and your end can be completely changed. So then develop the principles yourself, and with that, when you become a master with the principles, you can work with any tools. So it is for spiritual life the same, for conventional life also the same. So as a human being, especially when it comes to vipassana practice, remember, you are the best person to give a service to this entire humanity, seen, unseen, this all living beings. So you are capable to do that. So that's why develop this method little by little, little by little, little by little yourself. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ittavata cha ammi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me punya kammang savakaya vang hotu. Sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless.